Alright, boys, we are back, and it's time to continue with our failing franchise known as the Vancouver Canucks. Back-to-back years, first-round exit to the Dallas Stars. Unbelievable. I don't know what it is. I don't think that it's necessarily our roster because, look at our regular seasons the last 2 years. We've been up there. I think it's just against the Dallas Stars, they got a better roster. They match up very well against our team, and my God, they swept us this year. They swept us. Completely embarrassing. All right, so we've got to get to the offseason. We've got to make some changes here to the Vancouver Canucks because this was a very embarrassing season. Again, it seems to be the tail of the tape of the Vancouver Canucks. You know, that you can have that great regular season, even have a President's Trophy, but if you get kicked out in the first round after that, what good is it, right? I'd rather, just squeak into the playoffs at like 8th and pull the LA Kings and go all the way to the finals and take the big one. All right, so we need to change something up here. I don't know. Again, I don't think it's the roster. I think if we matched up against a different team, you may have seen at least one win, right? But back-to-back years against the Dallas Stars, and technically Dallas was the Stanley Cup champions last year. Why am I taking so long? Hang on a sec. Where's the AHL team? Are they in the playoffs or not? Hang on. 39, 30, and 7. Ooh, they might not have made it in. Let me just check out the stats. Chicago. I think we're in the... Are we already... Oh, we're already in the playoffs. Yeah, we didn't make it into the playoffs. All right, so our AHL team didn't make it into the playoffs. That's fine. So we can just do a quick simulation, get all the way up to the draft in this one. But what was I saying about the Dallas Stars? Yeah, they're the defending Stanley Cup champions. They beat us now 2 years in a row. Not a great year. I was hoping for a stellar playoff run. We'll put the finishing touches on the season, but that's not the case. Yeah, I know it's not the case, all right? I know it was not a stellar run. I don't know. I think it's just the Dallas Stars lineup. They got a decent goalie. Technically, we should have a better goalie, but their goalie played better than ours. I'm not even going to blame Luongo for that series. It was our lack of offense. And in turn, I look at their defensive lineup. They were only, 4 mid-80 players in the top 4, then, mid-70s on the bottom 6. They had a bunch of players on their offensive line that were, power forwards, maybe good defensively, that helped out as well. I don't know, man, but we just could not break the wall known as Kari Lehtinen. Just couldn't get it done. So I definitely think that the roster itself needs to be changed for next year. Hopefully guys like Nathan Drouin and not Nathan Drouin, Nathan McKinnon, Jonathan Drouin, and Anthony Mantha are a little bit closer to NHL ready. Remember, I still think that we are a pretty good team when it comes to regular season, and I was hoping that I don't need to do the scout again. I was hoping that once we get to the playoffs, hopefully an elite goalie and top two defensemen and 3 first liners and every player type that you needed, but it just did not work for us. So I need to completely just rethink what we want to do here with the Vancouver Canucks. But we got to get to the offseason because retirements are going to be the big thing. If we can, I don't know. Martin St. Louis, he probably will retire this year, but he's the one guy, if he doesn't retire, I would be able to trade him because he has 2 years left on his deal, I think. So if he does not retire right here, I can definitely trade him at the draft. But guys like Alfie, if he doesn't retire, he's only got 1 year left on his deal. So, I could sign him and then trade him, but you wouldn't get too much for Alfie anymore. And same thing with Sammy Salo. The Sedin twins I got to re-sign, but that shouldn't be a problem. There's a lot of players this year with their salary cap that has, not the salary cap, but just the contract length has ended. Okay? And look at that. The Pittsburgh Penguins defeat the Dallas Stars in 6 games to win the Cup. So Dallas once again went back to the Stanley Cup Finals. Can you freaking believe that? Something about the Dallas Stars roster right now, boys. It is tearing it up. It made it back to the Stanley Cup Finals and lost to the Penguins in 6 games. I'll show you the tree after. Let's see if we lost anybody down here. Ginla retired. Oh yeah. We lost a lot of players. So Timu retired, Alfie retired, Matt Cullen retired, Martin St. Louis retired, and Ruslan Fedotenko retired. All right. So basically 5 players that were all starters for us. I know what you guys are thinking. Oh, God, you have no players for next year. But it's going to be a strong free agent pool this year, and I needed to free up some salary cap for the Sedin twins anyways. So look at all that salary cap that we just saved right there, okay? So it sucks because I can't trade away. Martin St. Louis was the one player I wish didn't retire, but what are you gonna do? It's not the end of the world. So, yeah, the Pittsburgh Penguins won the Stanley Cup. We'll check out the playoff tree. I'll check out the awards for you guys. We'll do all that good stuff, and then we'll get into the draft, okay? Today is the prospects game, blah, blah, blah. I forget, do I have any, I can't remember if I have more than just one first-round pick this year. I don't think I do. I don't think I do. I think I got my second round pick back, but I think I only have a first and a second. We'll have to see. I wish you could check out what draft picks you have right now, you know what I mean? While you can still look at the scouts, because you can't bring up the trading block or your trade, so you can't see. You know, that's actually something they can change, but whatever. Okay, so first we'll just check out contracts. We'll check out how our team is looking after this year. All right, so goalies. Roberto Luongo, 89 overall still. Eddie Lack, 84, so it looks like he's probably capped off at where he's going to stay, which is still great. I mean, that's still a starting goalie, but he has to get a contract this year, okay? So Luongo, that's going to be a decision. Do we have to trade him at the draft, or do we save him to trade over the offseason, okay? We'll have to make a decision there. Clint Windsor, he is 81 overall now, so you know what? Technically, we could go into next season having Eddie Lack as our starter and Clint Windsor as our backup, and we could hold on to Eddie Lack for, let's see, two more years, because Windsor's got 2 more years at that deal. So, you know, sign Eddie Lack long term, use him for 2 seasons, and then when Windsor's ready to take the starting job, then trade away Eddie Lack. You know what I mean? So it's all falling together. Our goaltender situation. Yeah, okay. Defenseman, let's see this. Hamuse is still 88. Edler is still 88. So these guys are still players that we got to hold on to. They're still here for another 2 years at least, so you got to hold on to those 2 guys. Sammy Salo didn't retire, though. Still 84 overall. Might be a player that I just want to re-sign just to get him back here. Kevin Bieksa, 33 years old. He's only got 2 years left on his deal as well. Tanev, yeah, we want to keep Tanev. Barker, we've got to release Barker. He's not getting any better. Yansov, he can definitely come up and replace Barker now. He's 81 overall. Connaughton, 78. Yeah. And, yeah, Ryan Pulock is still only 62 overall, boys. So he is taking his time to get better. All right, so it's still going to be another 2-3 years maybe. And all these guys are still taking their time to get better. Yeah, we know that was going to happen. Dale Weiss is actually getting pretty good. Maybe he could play the third line now. Yannick Hansen is still the same. Zach Cassian, see what I mean, boys? He's just not getting better. I think it's because we put him on the third line this year. He didn't have like a breakout season. He still has 3 more years of getting better, but he's more of a checker. He doesn't even have a really good defensive category. He's more of a good skating checker. That's what he is. So a good checking forward. This guy looking like a good 4th liner. I know he's listed as a 3rd liner, but unless you have a really good sniper and a playmaker beside him on the 3rd line, this guy's a 4th liner. He's just not getting better. All right, but that's okay. He's a power forward. If he was listed as a playmaker or sniper, he'd get a lot better, but it's because he's a power forward. Staubitz, all right, that guy can go. Nicholas Jensen, this guy is slightly getting better, right? 67 overall. I guarantee you this guy will probably get better than Zach Cassian, just because he is listed as a sniper. So 67 overall. I'd say 2 more, maybe even 1 year, but definitely 2 years. He'd be ready to play on our 3rd line. Left wingers, Daniel Sedin is still 91. Booth is still 84. That's good. I want to keep Booth playing. He's a good player on a good contract for us. Jonathan Drouin, 77 overall. You know what? I think he could get away with playing in the NHL. He's got pretty good defensive awareness. I think what really drags his overall down is his physical category, his lack of body checking. But if you look at his offensive awareness, I mean, his poise brings him down as well as 65. But if you look at his offensive awareness, 87 with the hand-eye of 89, deking 93, and a pretty decent shot. His slap shot power 89, his wrist shot power 88. He might be able to get some goals, especially if you put him on the line with the 2 Sedin twins. But he also might benefit from another year down in the juniors or in the AHL. So we're going to have to figure that, okay? Same thing with Anthony Mantha. He's not ready to go yet. Same thing as Pulock, another 2-3 years at least. All right, Riley Sheen, yep. Henrik Sedin, 90 overall still. Kessler, still 88 overall. So our prime players are still their prime. Jordan Schrader, 77 overall now, so he's starting to get good. Manny Malhotra, 76. Rodin, 73. Gaunt, 63. All right, and all these guys. So when it comes to our players, our young guns, I think they could get away, especially Drouin playing in the NHL, but he's not going to be lights out. You know what I mean? I'm not going to say it's going to stunt his growth, but maybe 1 more year in the minors would be better for him. And then he comes up in his rookie year, and he's like, mid-80s playing with the Sedin twins. Because I did see comments saying that you guys want me to keep the Sedin twins. They're part of the franchise in Vancouver. We'll decide that later. We definitely can't trade him at the draft anyway, so there's no point in getting into that right now. All right, but let's check out the awards. So the Pittsburgh Penguins, Sid the Kid wins another one. President's Trophy, the New York Rangers. Clarence S. Campbell, look at that, the Dallas Stars. So Again, I mean, you can make now the stat going back 5 years in a row. First, the Chicago Blackhawks, all right? Then the, the Boston Bruins. Then the LA Kings, and now the Dallas Stars, 2 years in a row. The team that have made it to the Stanley Cup Finals from the Western Conference we've gone up against in the last, 5 years now. All right, unfreaking-believable. We're running into the wrong team in the first round. We really are. I would have loved to see us face up against another team, boys. It's something against with the Dallas Stars. All right, it's just they got a sick roster right now. I don't know what to make of it. Prince of Wales, Pittsburgh Penguins. Oh, so look, it was actually the Stanley Cup Final 2 years in a row. Dallas won it last year, and Pittsburgh won it this year. Ooh, setting up for a good final next year. Art Ross Trophy, John Tavares. Hart Memorial, Johnny T. James Norris, Zdeno Chara. Lady Bing, Johnny T. Calder Memorial, Granny Smith. Conn Smythe, Marc-Andre Fleury. Vezina Trophy, Pekka Rinne. William M. Jennings, look at that. Roberto Luongo, very nice. And Eddie Lack, right, because we allowed the least goals again, so that's more of a defensive stat. Bill Masterton, Anton Volchenko, Frank J. Selke, Pavel Datsyuk. Yep, they should just rename that award to the Datsyuk Award. Ted Lindsay, Sid the Kid, Maurice Richard, Alexander Ovechkin. Okay, and there you go. So, we're dealing with two powerhouses here in the NHL right now. The Pittsburgh Penguins in the East and the Dallas Stars in the West. I don't know what it is. The Dallas Stars, they beat us, they beat San Jose, and then they beat the LA Kings. Okay, so they got something filthy going on over there in Dallas. The water, I don't know what's going on down there in Texas, but they're putting something into the water, and it's making the players play a lot better. All right, so I don't know. Whatever, though. Doesn't change the fact that we need to retool. So we're going into the draft here. I want to see if, because I do have, Luongo is the big trading asset. I know I've read comments from you guys saying, trade Luongo for the first overall pick. It would be a good idea to trade Luongo here at the draft just because if we go into free agency, then I can only trade him to teams that want him. Whereas, since we're at the draft, I can trade him to any team. And since he does have a pretty decent trade value, I will be able to get something back for him. But the question is, do I want another draft pick? All right, do I want somebody who's coming into the league, or do I want somebody who's already young in the league, more on the same lines of Jonathan Drouin, okay? You got Jake Virtanen, who is 17 years... You see, the thing I don't like about guys who are like 17 years old and even 18-year-old, you know that they're like high 50s or low 60s. I like to find guys who have really good potential who are like 19, 20, even 21. I don't know if I've seen a 21-year-old, but the 20-year-olds, they usually are like mid-70s in year one, you know what I mean, just because they're older. So this Jake Virtanen guy, even though he's first overall, I wouldn't want to draft a 17-year-old. He would take way too long to catch up. Well, we can check him out after. I may make a big mistake there, but I'd rather get my hands on like an Aaron Ekblad. I know he's only 18 years old, but another big defenseman for us. Michael Plutnar. All right, 2A defender, but he's 20 years old, so he's probably better than Ekblad, but Ekblad's got the better, ceiling, I guess you could say. Aaron Simon, all right, defensive defender. A lot of defensemen. Yeah, 3 defensemen in the top 4. 4 defensemen in the top 5. Wow. Sam Reinhart, he's all the way down here, and Joshua Ho-Sang as well. These guys are all the way down here in top 10. Where's all the rest of is there a lot of goalies this year going up? Let's see. Yeah, there's a few, but they're all, okay, we don't need those. You know, I wouldn't mind getting my hands on because Jonathan Drouin is a left wing, right? I wouldn't mind getting my hands, if I could, get my hands on either Sam Reinhart, who's a center playmaker, or Joshua Ho-Sang, who's a right wing playmaker. I know he's only 3.5 star, but that might be 4 star. I remember seeing him 4 star sometime. Yeah, so, yeah, because there's not a lot of forwards. It's just Jake Virtanen. Okay, so this is what we're going to do. I may take a while here with this trade deadline, but that's what we got to do, okay? So first things first, let me go to my trading block, and let me put Roberto Luongo on the trading block, okay? There you go. Very nicely done. Next, what do I want? I want current first overall picks, okay? And I'll take future first overall picks, sure. And what I want to find is young forwards or young defensemen, basically with really good potential, okay? So guys who are no older than 22 years old with at least 4.5 star potential, okay? Medium. There you go. Forward. Yep. Yeah, that's all good. And defenseman, 22 years old, between 17 and 22. Again, this is not to make the trades myself. I just want to see if the computers come at me with anything that I may look at twice and be like, oh, you know what, that is a good trade. Okay. Yeah, everything's looking good. So if I go to this, let me just see the kind of forwards that pop up here. All right, I'm not going to be getting any of these guys. It's going to be like from this guy down that I can maybe make a trade for with, what's his name? Roberto Luongo, okay? So just taking a look. I'm not going to make the trade right now. I just want to see the players that I might be able to go after. All right. Looking for like that playmaker that could play alongside of Jonathan Drouin. Sean Monahan might not be a bad idea. Even though he's a two-way forward, he was drafted last year 5th overall, 66 overall. Okay. Just looking. Grigorenko, no. Coyle. Charlie Coyle might not be a bad idea. Power forward. Not really a center, though. No face-offs. Okay, so I just wanted to get a, like, I know you guys are saying, Nathan MacKinnon, go after Nathan MacKinnon. There's no way I'd be able to trade a Luongo for Nathan MacKinnon. I'd have to offer a lot more back. Okay, so, yeah, I've seen those guys. No one really popped out to me that I would really want to go after. And when it comes to defensemen, damn, Cam Fowler's he's already 84 overall, and his trade value is only that low? Why? Offensive, I don't know. He's got a crazy contract or something. Can I check out his contract? 5 years at 5 more. Yeah, okay, that's why. Pulock. All right. I don't want to make any trades going crazy here. All right. So yeah, all these guys have pretty good trade value. May just be smart to go from the draft here. So yeah, I'll commit to those changes. So let's start the draft up. All right. Let's get in here. Let's start this up. Begin NHL entry draft.